Good.
Hello and welcome to Voices of the 21st Century Author Spotlight, a show dedicated to sharing the messages of women from around the world who show up and share their truth. My name is Gail Watson. I'm founder and CEO of Women Speakers Association, and today we are talking about a really big topic. It's about addiction and how addiction affects so many people in such a devastating way. However, there is light at the end of this addiction road, and we're going to discuss practical ways to break through with someone who has walked that road. I have the proud honor of introducing to you today international best-selling author Candace Plattor. She is co-author of Voices of the 21st Century, Woman Transforming the World, which has reached #1 in 10 different categories and bestseller in 4 countries. So please welcome, ready or not, here I come, the amazing Candace.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Gail. Thank you.
Hi,
that was
Candace.
awesome.
I just had to, sorry?
That was awesome. What a great introduction.
I just had to throw that in there because you kick off your story, ready or not, here I come.
Yes.
And you're talking about addiction.
Yes.
All right. So let's dive in. What inspired you to share this story?
I've been sharing my story for a while now. When I first started to share it, it was pretty gruesome for me because it was a very dark time in my life when I have Crohn's disease, and I'm actually in my 50th year. This is my anniversary of having Crohn's disease, if you can imagine. And when I was first diagnosed, the doctors had no idea what to do for me. It was a fairly new disease, They mismedicated me. They gave me prescriptions for ulcerative colitis, which was not my disease, so that was not helpful. But they also gave me a lot of prescription medications that were very addictive, and addiction was not on the radar at that point. So they were giving me Valium drugs. They were giving me opioids like codeine and morphine and OxyContin and all of those, and they gave them to me over and over and over and over, week after week, month after month, year after year. And I developed a very severe opioid addiction to those medications. I had no idea that this is what was happening to me, but I knew that something horrible was happening to me. What ended up happening is that I started to think about killing myself. I just didn't want to live anymore. I was so depressed. All of those medications are depressants in the system. So, and one night I was holding on to a bottle of pills that I knew would take me out. So with one hand, I'm holding on to the pills, and with the other hand, I'm calling the Vancouver Crisis Center. And somebody there saved my life 35 years ago. And I now have 35 years clean and sober. And I've been working as an addictions therapist with families who are struggling with a loved one's addiction to whatever they're addicted to and don't know what to do. So I've been doing that for the last 30 years, last 3 decades, basically. But I think it's important for me to share my story because there's still so much shame around having an addiction, being addicted, having an addicted person in your family. There's so much shame around that. And I like to take the stigma away. I know people to change because I'm living proof of that. And I know how to help people change. So.
And that's that light at the end of the addiction road. It's phenomenal when we think that the medical system, the place that you went to go get some help with the pain in your body, turned you into an addict.
Yeah. And in their defense, they didn't know back then what they were unleashing upon me. I really don't think they did. But today they know, and a lot of doctors, well, let's say too many doctors are still prescribing this stuff to people without looking at other ways that pain can be managed, or really having some oversight over what's happening with the people that they're prescribing to. So that's another interview we could have. Don't get me started.
Yeah, don't get you started. Well, I'm glad you're an advocate. You're a voice for the community that's being affected by all of this. Now, I know you share your story everywhere, and I love it, and you're up for some awards with it. And I mean, that is phenomenal. You're doing great work, Candace. You really, really are.
Thank you, Gail.
Just thank you for that, because you're changing people's lives by being their voice. So when you write this story and you put it into this book, Women Transforming the World, which you are, what do you want the readers to take away from your story?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think that no matter what you've been dealt with in life, the most important thing to me is to not give up, to never give up, and to just keep putting one foot in front of the other and reach out for the help that you need, because there are so many of us here waiting for you to reach out to us to help you. Somebody's helped us, and we want to help you, and we just want to pay it forward. So if you're having a hard time, you don't have to go through that alone anymore. And there are ways out of it, because if that wasn't the case, I wouldn't be here today. I certainly wouldn't be doing this interview. I wouldn't have written the books I've written. I might not even be alive. So, if nothing changes, nothing changes. It's a saying I love. I wish I had made it up myself, but I stole it from whoever else made it up. But really, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So if you want something to change, if you're tired of living a life that you're not happy with, then reach out and let's make some changes. If you have an addict in your family and you're not sure what to do about that, we give a free 30-minute consultation, no strings attached at all. We'll hear what's going on with you. We'll see if you're a fit for us, if we're a fit for you. And if we are, then we just move forward and start working with you. So I think what I really want to say in my chapter is, my family was not a picnic. It wasn't fun at all to live in that family. I was emotionally and verbally abused my whole life. And I never, ever thought that I'd ever do anything that would help the world, ever. That just didn't occur to me. But people can change. So.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Okay, let's dive into, you talked about what we do to help you, what we can provide for you, your consultation. Let's give a broader scope of what's your business about now? How are you serving? And I'd love to see if you have your books available.
I do.
Yes, hold them up. Let's take a peek.
Okay. Yeah. So my first book, which I wrote about 12 years ago, is called Loving an Addict, Loving Yourself. It's the top 10 survival tips for loving someone with an addiction. So in this book, if you've got an addict in your life, and it doesn't matter what kind of addiction, and you're just kind of at the end of your rope, or you don't want to get to the end of your rope, you want to have some strategies before you get to that place, this is the book for you. I would caution you to not give it to your addict to read. A lot of people say, oh, I want my addict to read, I want my son to read this, or I want my husband to read this. It's like, no, they don't like my book, because I'm talking about setting boundaries. I'm talking about stopping enabling, things like that addicts don't want to have happen. So you read the book if you're in that situation. And then the other book that I'll show you today is Loving an Addict, Loving Yourself, the workbook, very creatively named, as you can see. But it goes with the book. It's the companion to the book, and it'll really help you. There's a lot of really wonderful questions in it and pages where you can write your answers, and it helps you to get a deeper look at yourself, because unless we develop self-awareness, we really can't change anything. So what we're trying to do when we help you is to assist you to understand yourself better. To me, that's what counseling is all about. We can't change what we're not aware of. So let's become more aware so that we can change it. And yeah, some people say, well, that's too hard. It hurts too much to look at it. And it's like, well, yes, it does hurt, but it's also hurting you to live the life that you're living right now. So it's about choosing. Yeah.
I love that. So one thing that really jumped out at me when you're holding up each book, there's butterflies everywhere. There's a
Oh,
butterfly above your shoulder.
and there's a butterfly up here that somebody
And there's
made
a
for
butterfly
me.
above your wall.
Yeah.
There's a
And
butterfly on your book.
And there's butterflies on my cup.
And
Would you
there's,
like to know why?
Yes.
Okay. And there's a butterfly on the new book. I just love that, because butterflies start out as caterpillars, and they're just kind of along the ground, and little boys love to squish them, right? And little girls like to shriek, "Ew, a caterpillar!" And then you get biology teachers that like to dissect them, and the caterpillar just doesn't get any respect in this world. But a caterpillar is very wise. A caterpillar has an instinct. And a caterpillar knows that if it doesn't change, if it doesn't transform itself, it's going to die, either by somebody else's hands or it will just die. It has to transform itself. I kind of understand that. I had to transform myself with help, right? So what the caterpillar does is it wriggles itself up a tree trunk and onto a limb, and it stops on the limb, and it turns itself kind of upside down, and it creates this cocoon of what I like to call bug juice. And it sits in its own bug juice, like we kind of have to sit in our own bug juice. And it sits there for it's doing some really hard work in there. And what it's doing is changing almost its entire DNA to become a butterfly. This is the part that stays. That's the caterpillar, the spine kind of the butterfly. But the rest of it is all new. And just as soon as it's ready, like not a minute before, not a minute after, because that won't be good. As soon as it's ready, it comes out as this amazing, beautiful, transformed being. And nobody that I know has ever said, ew, a butterfly, right? It's, wow, a butterfly, isn't that beautiful? Aren't butterflies amazing? And they really, really are. They're fragile and strong and vulnerable all at the same time. And so I started out as a caterpillar, and I was a caterpillar for a long time. I flew under the radar for a long time. I am now a butterfly. I have my self-respect. I know who I am and I like myself. Hasn't always been the case. So every day I'm very grateful. And we all have butterfly potential, all of us. You do too. If you're listening and you're thinking, well, I'm a caterpillar, I know, but you can be a butterfly.
I love that. You're empowering the future of butterflies out there. I love that the way you described the whole transformation from caterpillar to butterfly. I've never heard it that way before, and how you relate it to that person who is feeling not seen, sitting in their bug juice, going through that pain of transformation, but emerging so the world sees me as beautiful.
And the thing is that while we're sitting in that bug juice, I don't know whether caterpillars can think, I don't know, but a lot of us think, is this ever going to end? I don't know how to do this. I feel so lonely. So unsupported and all that stuff, right? Is this ever going to end? And yes, the really hard part of it does end. The continued transformation continues every day. I learn something new every day. I learn something new about myself, usually every day. That continues, but the pain of it, that can stop.
That can stop.
That can
And
stop.
what happens when that butterfly emerges? What's their job? What's their role? To go be in this world, to go be a pollinator.
I heard you say that, and I just love that. And I think, I remember thinking to myself, I'm pollinating the world, and I just love that.
You're helping people grow. You're helping, yeah, and that's
and then they can pollinate.
And they can pollinate and share the gifts that you've given them. Candace, you're amazing. Okay, we need to get a copy of your book. Where can we go to get your book?
Well, the book is on Amazon. All of my books are on Amazon, including this new one, wonderful anthology. So you can get it on Amazon. You can get it at Chapters online, Chapters in store, Indigo, those bookstores. I think it's on Barnes and Noble online, and you can also get it at my website. So,
yeah,
and my website is www.lovewithboundaries.com. And the reason my business is called Love with Boundaries is because when we have an addict in the family, we need to love them. We need to love them, but we need to do it in a healthy way with boundaries. So lovewithboundaries.com.
Love with Boundaries. Candace, every time I speak with you, I learn more and more about you and just the amazing gift that you are in this world. Oh. And I want to really thank you for not taking that bottle of pills that day that you went through and sat in your bug juice and you transformed yourself, because wow, you are meant to be here. And
thanks,
and what
Gail.
a beautiful gift and pollinator that you are, to
pollinator.
Go and change the world and transform the lives of so many people around you. You're just incredible. You have given us so many golden nuggets here in this conversation. I know I've learned a lot. Is there some final words of wisdom that you'd like to leave us with?
I would like to leave you with the idea that self-respect is a different thing from self-esteem. Self-esteem is when somebody else says to you, oh, you're doing really well, or, I love your blouse, or whatever. It comes from the outside in. Self-respect comes from the inside out. And self-respect is something that's earned, like self-trust, and it's, to me, the most important thing that we either have or don't have. I've lived without it. I live with it now. It's not negotiable for me anymore. So we need to learn how to develop our self-respect. And as we do that, many women have not learned how to do that. We're not encouraged to do that. We need to do that. And as we do it, life just gets so much easier, richer, fuller, better. So self-respect. Yeah.
That was perfect. That leaves us with very good thoughts. Just as you're speaking, the strength that comes out of you. We can feel that self-respect. Candace, thank you for all that you do. Seriously, I'm looking forward to more words coming from you, and how you're sharing and helping change the lives of your clients, the community, the world. I mean, you're just really a beautiful light in this sometimes dark world.
Thank you, Gail.
Well,
can I just say that if people want to get a free chapter of my book to see what that's all about, all you have to do is sign up for my newsletter. It's on the website.
Good. And that is lovewithboundaries.com. So go there, get a download of her chapter, check it out, and get to know Candace. She's pretty nice to know, pretty easy to talk to. And Candace, we look forward to talking with you again soon, I hope.
Mm,
And to our listeners today, I want to thank you for joining in. And wherever you are in this world, we wish you a great day.
yes.